everybody, and welcome to the first video of Summerween. This is a reading vlog, a reading challenge hosted by Gabby from Gabby Reads, where she basically tells us to read spooky books in summer instead of fall, because I think that's just fun. She also hosts it in the winter, so you read spooky books in the winter. But in this time around, I am gonna read so many spooky books because I usually don't read that many, just thrillers in general or mysteries. I read a lot of mysteries, don't read a lot of thrillers, barely read any horror. And yeah, so right now I kind of in a conundrum because I am in the middle of a lot of romances that I didn't finish before it started. So I'm kind of wondering, should I finish the romances and move into the spooky books, or should I just drop the romances altogether? And then I also got some pastries this morning. I have been up and Adams, and I went to this bakery that you have to be there pretty early or you're gonna run out of things. So I'm gonna show you. So I have this breakfast bun, this bagel, a tomato galette, there you go, a sweet Danish, and a cinnamon run. I'm not gonna take those out because I will definitely get cinnamon everywhere, and I don't want my savory stuff to taste sweet. So as far as my first spooky book, I'm gonna be reading With a Vengeance with Riley Sager, because this actually hits a lot of the challenges. I'm going to put the challenge board right here, but one of the challenges is to read a book with a sky in the cover. That definitely hits it. To read a book a mystery or thriller, yes, and then to read a book at night, which I can obviously do. I can read whenever. So yeah, so those three challenges are going to be very easily fulfilled by this book, and then later on we're going to have to figure out how to hit the other challenges, because I honestly, my reading rate is about one book every 2 to 3 days, so in total I probably can read 3 books max. And I don't like my chances, especially with being a long holiday weekend here in the US, that I'm not gonna get busy and being like all everywhere all around. So yeah, so let's see how that goes. I'm really excited for Summerween. Hello everybody, and welcome to the Monday of Summerween. So today I actually missed yesterday's filming day just because me and my husband both got a cold, and I'm still feeling a little ill, but not too bad. And he's obviously still a little ill too, but now I'm feeling a little better, so I'm good with filming. And I did finish one book while I was sick. I finished Riley Sager's new book, With a Vengeance. And me and Riley Sager have a very difficult relationship just because I've loved The Only One Left and the House Across the Lake. Those were one of my favorite books of the year. But a couple other books, like the one that came out last year, I was like, Middle of the Night was meh. And this one is gonna fall in a very solid 3.5 stars to 4 stars. I liked it. I think it was very different from him. It was significantly less thrillery and less scary. I found it to be very a mystery, a very plain mystery, not like a mystery thriller like a lot of his other books are. In this one, it was just a lot of twist reveals. But what I didn't like is usually books like this that are kind of like Agatha Christie-ish books, in Murder in the Orient Express, you usually get a group of people together and they all know each other, but you don't really know how they know each other till the very end of this book. Till the very end of the book. In this book, you kind of know how these people know each other right away, and that kind of takes a little bit of the mystery out of it. I'm like, I don't care if all of these people die because they're all horrible people. So I'm like, I don't know, I don't care. And that's the main problem with me. The characters, I didn't empathize with them. I didn't like them. I didn't care. They were not very distinguishable. So obviously when the mystery starts going down, I'm a little disconnected from it all. But that's pretty much it. So, and somebody walked by my car. So yeah, so that is how it's going so far, and hopefully the next book that I'm reading goes a little bit better. So I'm actually reading, and this one is about a monster. She's monster. I don't know what type of monster. It's just a warm monster, but it doesn't seem like it. She has the capability of shape shifting, but she kind of has to consume people in order to shapeshift like them. And that's where that she just opened her eyes from hibernation, and she goes into this town and starts kind of terrorizing the poor town. And she's very like weird about humans, kind of like how Shrek was weird about humans. She's weird about humans because humans have only been bad to her and treated her like a monster, not because their humans in this world are all bad. And because of that, you're kind of like seeing her start empathizing with this girl and Homily, and they start kind of like falling for each other, which I think is super funny. And now the second act of this book just happened, where like basically now they have to like band together to destroy the monster together, and nobody know, like, Homily doesn't know that she's actually the monster. And that's kind of where this book is going. It's actually really interesting and really cute, and surprisingly like very fantasy heavy in my opinion for a horror. Most horrors, they're kind of like don't do a lot of world building, but I'm getting a very good impression of how this world works and how the monsters works. So yeah, it's very interesting, and that's all my update. Hopefully I can finish up today. Hello and welcome to the day 4 reading update. So today I finished my second book, so Somebody You Can Build a Nest In, and I actually really liked it. It was a very solid 3-star book. I actually didn't think it was all that scary. It started extremely gruesome because it did have a lot of body horror, like spine cracking, things coming out of the mouth, like a lot of fluids coming out of everywhere. And I was like, ew, this is gonna be a tough ride. But then it just became really cute, like a really cute romance, and you get to meet Hamily and Shasheshin, and they kind of have like this like very weird dynamic because her family's actively trying to kill her, and but Hamily's family is awful, so you're actually like rooting against them the entire time. You're rooting for them to fail, so it felt very lighthearted because that was not a big issue. Obviously, like Hamily had to get a lot over her toxic family dynamic, and I thought that was very interesting and just growing. I did think they became a little too enmeshed with each other. I feel like it will not be a very good relationship long term because they both came from very traumatic backgrounds, and they kind of just like came together and became a little codependent. I would say like that's my only reason I wouldn't love this relationship. I don't think this like it's a very good relationship to model years after, but I did think it was very cute. It did feel a little puppy lovey, especially because they kind of had an insta love situation. But overall, the horror was good. The plot twist got me. I was very surprised, and then I just had fun. It was a fun time, but I don't think it's anything like crazy special. I heard like very good things about this before I read it, and I think it was fun enough, but it wasn't like a 5-star book for me. It was a very solid 3-star. And now we're starting with my third book that I'm reading, and it's The Memory Police. So I'm about 20 pages in, and I think this book is already amazing. How it's written, it's so beautiful. So I can't really tell what it's about just out of the 20%, but it's basically about this whole society where everybody starts losing the memories of things. For example, like yarn. So everybody knows what like yarn is one day, and the next day the memory of yarn disappears, and like there's this memory police that goes around destroying anything that has to do with the yarn. So in my case, they will come and like destroy my yarn itself, destroy the yarn needles, come into my closet, take all the yarn out, and make it all disappear. And sometimes people disappear things voluntarily, and sometimes it have to be forceful. And in this society, things start disappearing slowly, but then it starts speeding up. And there's this one character that we already met that they actually remember yarn. They remember the things that they were meant to forget, and you don't really understand why and how, because this is not like a conscious decision. This is an unconscious thing that happens to everybody. You can't just like try to remember and actually remember things. It happens automatically to everybody. So it's kind of unclear how this person remembers things, but I think if it starts, I don't know, I'm kind of feeling like a good revolution book. I want to get like anti-fascist revolution, anti-police book, and hopefully this will give me that I'm craving right now, because obviously the world is on fire. So I'm kind of craving a book that will give me a little bit of that relief. And yeah, I'm really excited to see right now. Again, it's not very spooky. It's more like lit fic, a little like what's it called, magical realism-ish. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. 20 pages in, so I'll let you know how I'm feeling tomorrow morning when I'm a little bit farther ahead. Hello and welcome to the reading update. So I am still sick. I have a cold and I got out of work a little early, so hopefully I could fall asleep for a little before my husband came home. And I started listening to the book that I'm picking for this. It's called Dead Silence. Is that what it's called? I think it is. So, and I got hooked. I couldn't fall asleep. I was terrified. I'm about halfway through and they're talking about it's about this cargo ship that they were on the edge of the space to look at a beacon for communication, and that's what their job is. That's the normal job for the ship. But then they encountered this other ship that's kind of like a legend. It got lost in this space. It was one of the first ships that had a multiple year space thing going on. So that's when and it was a luxury ship. It was supposed to be state of the art. All the people that went there were kings and queens and princes and famous people and billionaires. But they found it and they were like, oh my god, this is the lost ship. We should go because then we can reclaim it and we can get all the stuff that's in there, because obviously they were billionaires, so there's gonna be a lot of good stuff in there. And because of that, they go in and then they figure out everything starts going wrong. But it's not, right now it's not like aliens, it's more psychological. They start going a little crazy and they start finding all this found footage of other people going crazy. And there's the voices, and the main character is very unreliable and she has a very interesting backstory. And yeah, so far it's fascinating and I really, really like it. And I cannot stop reading it, even though I probably should, because I look terrible. I need to sleep. Oh my god, this is so terrifying. But yeah, it's the middle of the day, so thankfully I'm not too scared yet. But I want to finish this in the middle of the night, because I think it'll be the perfect atmosphere. But I probably should not ruin more of my sleep. So yeah, my dog has allergies, so that's what you can hear. Yeah, so I'm really enjoying it, and I'll tell you when I'm done. Oh my god. Hello everybody, and welcome to my reading update. So I just finished with Dead Silence. You can hear a lot of background noise because it's very, very rainy and stormy over here. Me and Panda tried to go out for a walk and we got absolutely stormed. It was horrible. I think she was having fun in the puddles, to be honest. So yeah, so I finished Dead Silence and it was actually a really, really good book. I enjoyed it. It was a 4-star book. Yesterday it creeped me out quite a bit. Then it kind of pulled back from the creep factor to be a little bit less of a horror, more like a suspense. We tried to figure out what actually happens. And it did have a satisfactory ending, which is my main complaint in a lot of the horror that I read. Is you never get an explanation. As a sciencey person, I really, really hate that. I really hate not knowing. So I really enjoyed that it had an explanation, but it still left room for speculation. And that it got really creepy again after it kind of mellowed out for a little. And it kind of falls under what I call corporate science fiction, where Murderbot falls in, where Leviathan Wakes falls in. And this book are kind of they do talk about trying to take down a $1 billion corporation that kind of expanded and became a $1 trillion multi-solar system corporation. And that was really interesting. So now I just have one more book to finish before the readathon ends, and that'll be my 4th book of a week. So for a working week, when I was working pretty much 8 to 10 hours every day, I think, and I had a cold, I think I did really good. So the plan for tonight is to read, and probably not finish, but I probably will finish it tomorrow, The Memory Police. This book has been so good. I know I haven't given you an update because I'm only 100 pages in. So tonight I'm gonna make a charcuterie board. I know that one of the challenges was to do some sort of cooking, and I haven't had time to bake anything, but I did get candied pecans, which for me are the fall thing that I love the most to eat. Very casual. I also got a wine. So I really love Elemental Spirits, which is a wine shop in Atlanta. They have the best natural wines, in my opinion. So this is a natural wine. Orange wines are kind of a middle ground between red and white, and I just love it. And they're not as sweet as rosé, and they're usually naturally fermented, so they don't have sulfites or added sugars, so they don't give you a bad headache. But since they're naturally fermented, they sometimes have bubbles, sometimes they don't, depending, because the variation is a lot more than those traditionally produced wines. So it's a little bit of a gamble, but I always take it. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this wine as well. Yeah, that's my little food haul. And I'll show you what I put together. And I'm really excited. And I will finish the Murder Police. And that will be the end of this vlog. And welcome to my last update for the Summerween vlog. So basically I finished The Memory Police, which was my last book I had to finish, and I really loved it. It was a 4-star book for me because I kind of don't get a lot of what it was saying. I don't know if it was a metaphor for like losing your memory and Alzheimer's and dementia and things like that, or is it a metaphor for like an oppressive government that slowly takes away from its people to like their husks of their former being, or is it a metaphor for like domestic violence and how like people get isolated and they just start taking more and more and you just don't know yourself and you don't have a voice, you don't have a body anymore. So yeah, that's the only reason I usually like it to be a little bit more explained when it comes to book that is talking about a subject. And I know that maybe if I was in a class, I was like reading this together, or it was part of a book club, I would have gotten a little bit more out of it. But like as a me reading it by myself, I felt like I was left a little confused by the end. But again, like it's not something the book necessarily did wrong. I know a lot of people love books that don't over explain what the theme of it is, and that is something that could really attract you to this book. For me personally, I like it to be a little bit more explained so I can wrap my head around the concept, but I absolutely loved it. And yeah, that is the end of Summerween. I read 4 things. I read The Memory Police, I read Somebody You Can Build a Nest With, the new Riley Sager book, and I also finished Dead Silence. So 4 really good books. I completed all of the challenges. Dead Silence was a book that was over a year in my TBR. Then the new Riley Sager is a book with the sky on the cover. Then I read A Horror at Night, which is kind of Dead Silence and Somebody You Can Build a Nest With are both horrors. I listened to basically every book but this one as an audiobook because audiobooks are my preferred way of reading. And yeah, I really enjoy it. It was a lot of fun. I love seeing all the prompts and joining reading sprints. I love a good reading sprint. It's always super helpful for me to read with other people. And yeah, all the books I read were really good. So I think my final rating is Somebody You Can Build a Nest With. It's a 3-star book. This one and Dead Silence are 4-star books. And sadly, the new Riley Sager is like a 2.5. Maybe a 3-star because it has some merits, but it's like basically a 2 because I just didn't see it. I didn't like the characters. It was a little boring. I'm already forgetting about what happened, and it's only been like 4 days. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed your time in the vlog. Please like it down below and comment if you participated in Summerween. Bye.